So this next one I'm going to play, 8 amps and a TC, I'll select that one. It's 8 different amplifiers going through the same guitar sound. So I'll play one of them right now. If I play the next scene, play the next scene, and you hear the amplifier changing. There is a great audition for this one. That's a great audition. It really shows each of the amps, and the super knob is moving. You hear what's happening with the super knob. In this case, the super knob has been programmed to increase the effect sometimes, to increase more drive into different amplifiers and so on. So another cool way to show this gallery performance concept. I'll play one more. So this last gallery I'm going to show is one that I created that I call Blake's Gig Gallery. In this case, each of the parts of the performance are single instruments of different types. So I could conceivably play an entire gig out of one performance. So part 1, which I have selected with the scene, all the other parts are muted except part 1. What that is a piano. Totally awesome piano. It's a single part. I don't think it has the expressive quality of the multi-part single instrument CFX, but it's a great piano for a single part. Awesome. Number 2, tone wheel organ with rotary speaker speed set on the modulation wheel. Number 3, it's a string ensemble and a super dynamic one, single part. Next one is an electric piano. A guitar. With assignable buttons that are also active for the harmonics. Here's a synth lead. Brass orchestra. And then a synth pad sound. So out of one performance, I have 8 different sounds that I can use on a gig. Well, let's say I'm going to go back to the first part, which is just a piano. Let's say I'd like to layer now part 1 with part 8. Well, I can unmute it in the screen, or I can go over to my buttons over here. And I like to use the buttons in these kinds of things. They seem to be a little bit easier to get to. So I'm just going to unmute number 8 here. It's unmuted in the screen. So now I've got... So I like how that sounds. I like the balance. I'm going to store that in a scene. So I'm going to store it to scene 1, and part 1 and part 8 will be active. So hold the shift button, press and hold, select scene 1, and you look inside the screen and it says scene stored. So now if I go back to scene 2, that's going to have just part 2. Scene 1 is now part 1 and 8. So I'm going to save this as a version of Blake's Gig Gallery. So how do I do that? I just simply hit the store button. It brings up the dialog overwrite current performance, which I don't want to do. I want to store it above that as a new performance. So I say new performance, and I'll say Blake's Gig Gallery X. Done, stored it as new performance. And it's the active performance now. So if I want to register that to a live set, just as an aside, I could go into the live set and do it that way, or I can simply hold Shift and touch Live Set. And it brings up the first available slot in a user live set to register that for instant recall. Pretty cool. So those are gallery performances.